good evening, everybody. It's a Turnbuckle Bandwagon After Dark-ish show, unofficial preview show for Shangri-La Mahastral, starting on Sunday afternoon. Our guest, That Rose Tattoo, is my unofficial co-host, and our guest today, perfection personified, the dime piece, Mr. 4-0 from the Discovery Gauntlet, Aaron Rourke. Aaron, how are you?
I am so good. How are you guys? Thank you for having me on. I'm so honored.
Doing great.
Oh, thank you. Aaron made his, for anyone that didn't see it, and why wouldn't you have seen it on IWTV and Uncharted Territory, Aaron made his debut Uncharted Territory, the Thanksgiving episode, I think one of the most watched episodes of the season, making his Beyond debut and defeating Gary J. Aaron, what's it like to walk into that environment at Beyond and having everyone just right there on you?
So that was a new experience for me. That was the first time I'd ever wrestled at a venue on a platform like Beyond. So the first time I remember I was getting wretched, but under my breath, I was like, this is crazy. I was like, everyone is right here. I felt like a superstar the minute I walked out. I was like, this is insane.
And I mean, I watched the match last night, rewatched it again. I hadn't seen it in a bit. Gary J just had a lot of support. People kind of took to him. That bell rings, you throw a handspring and just bust him right in the face. Was there any game plan, or was it just like, I need to go at Gary J and go at him until he can't come at me?
We got some technical difficulties here.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to try this on my phone. Let's do that.
All right. We'll wait.
Oh, this is so much better.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
That works.
Okay, and then I'll leave this.
Okay, there we go.
This is so much better. I should have done the beginning.
No, we're good. This is
good.
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay.
All right.
Perfect indeed.
Perfect. So yeah, was there a game plan for Gary J, or was it like step out there, do what comes? Because you handspring and you bust him right in the chops just to start, and that's the start of the match.
Yes. I had done my research on Mr. Gary J, and he is certainly different type of wrestler than I am. So I figured once that bell rings, just come out swinging.
Swinging. Tiff, what were your impressions when you saw Mr. Rourke step on?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked me that. Okay. The Discovery Gauntlet has been one of my favorite things about Uncharted Territory, of all. And, just seeing, because I'll be honest, I had no idea who Aaron Rourke was before I had seen the Discovery Gauntlet. So I had known who Gary J was, though, because I'm from down south and Gary J has made his name around the Midwest. So, of course, I was, going for Gary J in the beginning. I was like, okay, whatever, Gary J is going to, he's going to beat this kid. Then I saw the match, and I was just like, okay, this kid has something. Then he won the match. And I was like, all right. And then, okay, what sold me 100% though was that after-match promo.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I know who this kid is. And I even tweeted that. I remember tweeting, and I was like, okay, now I know who Aaron Rourke is.
That made saw your tweet. I was like, yes.
I love that match. That was one of my favorite Uncharted Territory matches. So perfect introduction to Aaron Rourke.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was in seeing the match and just being in the building. You came out and there was mixed. I mean, because when folks see someone they don't know, the reaction is just seems a little weird. When you won, the energy. I was standing there. I was kind of off in that corner turnbuckle, kind of near where the bar is, and I like clapped a little bit, not super duper loud, but I was impressed. I was like, all right, here. It's like you, as a wrestling fan, you want surprises, or people say they want surprises, but when they get a surprise, they don't. They are weird about it. And I'm like, no, I didn't know who this guy was. He just went toe to toe with Gary J for what, 10, 15 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah. Every shot Gary J had, and walked out with the W. I mean, who wouldn't love that?
It
Yeah.
was memorable.
And he handed me my butt on a silver platter. That was a hard fought match. I felt it.
Yeah, there's a kind of a sequence toward the end just before the pin where he just reared back and just forearmed you and you caught it kind of right here in the neck and the jaw and just I'm gonna assume that he rung your bell a couple times.
Oh yeah, but I love it. He fight for that win, and that's what I love. Make me work for it, because I'll work for it and I'll win.
And I wanted to ask about, and I asked when I talked with Max Caster earlier in the summer. You're out of Creative Pro school. Creative Pro has built this reputation over the past couple of years as being, one of the preeminent schools here in the Northeast. What is it about like the culture and the training and the way they set people up there to succeed? Because that's what it seems like. Everyone that comes out of there, that smart singing name, succeeds. It's not like a halfway thing. They succeed.
Yeah, I mean, Creative Pro is I'm biased, but I think one of the best training schools in the country. It's such a family-oriented training facility. Like, everyone there wants to see everyone succeed. Everyone helps each other out. And Pat Buck and Brian Myers are just two class acts. Like, such great trainers, so hands-on, care about every single student who walks in through that door. No matter the experience level, they will work with you. And they've taught everyone, including me, including people like MJF, Chris Statlander, Max Caster. Like, they taught us so much. And it shows when we step in the ring and you see us and Bear Country and VSK and Mark Sterling. Like, you just see all their teaching and their teaching methods that they've drilled into us in our ring. I mean, they're really just the greatest. And I'm so thankful that I train at Creative Pro, that I have these awesome trainers, and I train with amazing, talented people.
And even MJF gave you a little shout out on Twitter a couple of days ago. I think someone asked about like standout talent, and MJF tweets, Aaron Rourke or nobody. How did that feel? It's social media, but how did that feel seeing that come from some, MJF, probably your most notable alum, him and Chris Statlander.
I'm sure there was some hint of sarcasm there.
Yeah, MJF, he got me again.
Yeah, knowing MJF, there's probably some hint of sarcasm or saltiness under there. Nothing is ever than loving and caring. But it really helps me solidify my confidence. And when someone like that notices you and recognizes your talent, I mean, how could it you're confident and push you to work harder? That person's taking notice, then there's millions of other people who might take notice.
Yep, exactly. And I want to quickly talk about, before we get to your match on Sunday, you're running the Discovery Gauntlet. Masha Slamovich, Anthony Bowens, watching that match. Yes. Anthony Bowens is for all intents and purposes, he's a stud. He's earned the nickname.
Yeah.
What's that like to be? I mean, I don't be in a ring with Anthony Bowens, but like, because he does have this, there seems to be this aura about him that, he can do everything. And
yeah, I mean, do everything. I knew Anthony Bowens a little bit. Like, I met him when I first started and when I was helping out at Wrestle Pro, and like we had talked back and forth. So getting to work with him finally was a dream. It was something I talked to him about a couple times, been like, I want to work with you. I want to wrestle you. It helped push my limits. I mean, to wrestle him, it is really testing everything, Yeah. And it was truly one of my funnest matches, definitely one of my best. And I feel like we went in there and just tore it up.
You did.
Yeah.
You got my stamp of approval.
Yep, and Masha is a great wrestler. She she did train in Japan. I know she's getting back here to the States. And then Nick Stopp, who's just like a solid fundamental guy. You go on a run and I'm always a fan of, like, again, being surprised, someone I don't know, and they step out and they have the aura, they have the X factor, and that's in my opinion as a fan what you have. Now, serious question. Talk to me about like the eye makeup and the setup, because that seems like a lot of work. Like, how do you get where did the idea for it come from, and kind of how long does that take? Kind of what do you go with? Like, is there foundation involved? I'm super curious about that stuff.
So the makeup was totally by accident in the first half of my career before the injury. I was still trying to find who I was, and I very much love glitter diamonds. Even though I'm an ass kicker, I still love to be bedazzled and shine and be star. But when I came back, I had a match with Chris Statlander at Hardcore Halloween at Cap, and I was like, I'm coming back. I need to spice it up. I need to make a grand re-entrance. And I remember seeing all these pictures of like people who put like gold leaf on their face and like rhinestones, and I was like, I'm gonna do that. So then during my Beyond run, I started to put it in different places. It's actually quite a difficult process. It's a lot of spirit gum, which is adhesive a lot of theater uses, like a lot of theater. It's glue prosthetics on your face. So that would take almost about an hour to do.
Okay.
And then I realized that putting glue under your eyes all the time was not fun. So you know, it gets a little tricky when you're putting it on and it starts to burn and you're like, geez. So UV paint, which is why you see like the yellow and green tears. And I did that because it was a symbol of my character's tears shedded on his injury and all his like work, and how they say you put blood, sweat, and tears into your career and in the ring. So I wanted to kind of put that on my face, and it's kind of like my war makeup.
I like that.
I dig it. It's a great look, and it's great because for most fans, you walk out and you've got the cape, and Tiff and I have discussed this, more capes in wrestling. Need more capes.
Definitely.
More capes. And then you've got the makeup and your hair's did, and people are going to underestimate you from the start. And, yeah. So it's a great advantage. And let's talk about your match this weekend, Shangri-La Mastral, from an undisclosed location. I know you're not going to tell us where it is, but have they given you the location yet, or do you have to wait until like tomorrow?
No, I don't even know where it is. So I'm hoping tomorrow we find out. I'd love to know, just so I can be there. But yeah, I'm very excited about tomorrow. I'm very excited to make my return and grace the Beyond ring once again.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon, I believe, right? Sunday. You've got Robo the Punjabi Lion. I'm familiar with Robo from his work up here in the Northeast, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. Robo's a big, strong lad. What's the have you guys been at shows together? I know you haven't wrestled him, but have you seen him at shows? Are you kind of game planning him out?
Yeah, I think I've seen him at a couple Beyond shows, especially I think he was at the one where he was either at the one where I made my Beyond debut, or he was at one of them. And I remember seeing him and I was like, oh my, like, that's a big, strong guy. I was like, I would like to wrestle him one day. That's would be a fun time. And here, I definitely have done my scouting. I definitely have a game plan going into it.
Nice. Tiff, what do you got? You got anything?
I am just really looking forward to that particular match, because having seen, just going back on the Discovery Gauntlet matches and how much I love those, and how much, because at this point, I believe I've seen more of Aaron Rourke than I've seen of Robo the Punjabi Lion. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm just kind of waiting to see how it goes in the ring. And I'll be honest, I'm pulling for Aaron because I'm biased. But
I knew I liked
but I'm waiting to see how Sunday goes. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Yes. And just in general, looking at this card there's some changes. The Buffalo guys kind of can't make it, I know, due to some issues, but this card looks stacked. I know you kind of, Aaron, you're just getting going. It seems like Beyond's moving into a new place where Beyond's looking for the next star or stars as guys move on. And I know you're looking to be the star, one of those stars. Is there anyone like on the Beyond roster, say on this show, that you've seen, like Rebel, that you really, really want to match against, really want to work with?
There's so much talent. Like, it's so hard to like nitpick, like, because I truly just love what I do. I love wrestling. I don't care who I wrestle. I think every opportunity to step in the ring is just such a blessing, and it's so fun. And especially when it's someone different who wrestles different from me, it makes me think outside the box. There, I would have to say there's a couple. I would definitely love to wrestle Chris Dickinson
Yeah.
just for the fun of it. He's so good, and I would just love to feel that energy, like in the ring, just these two like charismatic big egos, and like just to see like who the fans want. Obviously, I think they're gonna pull for Dickinson, but
I would love to see that too.
Yeah, that would be.
there's the guys like Jay Freddy, Matt Mikowski, Dan Garcia. I would love to wrestle my boy VSK once more.
Yes, okay.
He was actually my first ever singles match, so I would love to. I would like to dance with him again.
Yeah,
I think
part 2.
Yeah, I want a part 2.
Yeah.
That seems to be when guys wrestle folks they train. Like when I talk with Megabyte Ronnie, when he wrestled Brandon Thurston at Beyond, it was like a special for him because, you're wrestling a guy who trained you, and you really get to kind of show him what you've learned, or guy you trained with, what you've learned, and you get to show that off to people, in a ring.
Exactly. I need to show him I'm not the same dime piece I was back in 2019. Different kind of dime piece.
Right.
And what kind of look are we going to see on Sunday? You got something planned out, something special?
You might see a new, I wouldn't say cape, maybe a new garment.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go.
Longer hair. So it's going to be style different. Definitely different face paint. But still the same Aaron Rourke, but definitely I think he's going to be a little more mean this time around. I think he's had enough of playing nice, even though I don't was nice before.
Even more mean.
Even more mean. Go for it. Go for it. Aaron, thank you so much. Where can folks find you on social media and all that?
You can find me at Perfection Aaron 1 on Twitter and Perfection Aaron 1 on Instagram. And yeah.
Awesome. Aaron, again, thank you so much for doing this. This is really great. I was excited to talk to you just because I'm impressed by what you're doing out there. I know Tiff was a fan.
Yes.
We're pulling for you on Sunday. We'll be on the social medias, and we look forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to whatever you've got coming, and I hope to see you and beyond for a fairly long time to come.
I hope to be there for a very long time too. Thank you guys so much for having me on here. It's truly such an honor to be on here. This is like this is probably the first ever like interview anyone has ever done in their career.
Well, I've got this it's my little corner of the internet. There's not a lot of folks, but I'm trying to grow. And I think looking at the up and coming is a part of that. It helps me get better, and, folks want to talk about what they want to talk about and promote yourself. That's what I'm doing here. I'm not the, 45,000, 100,000 click guy, but I'm trying to get the word out about the folks who need the word getting out about them. Yeah. That was bad grammar. That was horrible.
I'm not going to judge you.
Aaron, you're welcome to stick around. We're going to break down the rest of the card. Or if you need to, step out, that's fine. Again, we appreciate it. Tiff, did you have anything before we get moving?
Well, I'm just looking forward to Sunday, man. I love you, and I cannot wait to see that match. It's going to be awesome.
I love you too. Thank you guys. Thank you to everyone. Thank you so much for supporting me. I love you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks, baby.
Oh man. All right. Let's see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Cool. All right. That was super fun, Tiff.
That was awesome. He is so great.
He is, and he's a charismatic. He's got the it factor, as it
He really does.
Before we get into it, folks, Tiff and I, that Rose Tattoo, we finally met in real life at where.
Yes, finally.
Both two tall brown folks. Just we need to coordinate a little better next time because I'm older, and just after driving 4 hours, I was kind of wiped, and I was like, I took a walk, I got a milkshake, I went back to my hotel room.
Oh no, I totally feel you. After the show, and of course, me, every single moment of the show, I was completely baked.
Fun show. Fun show. I got me a Myron Reed t-shirt. To me, the standout, the Chris Dickinson Priscilla Kelly match was great. The tag match, Culture Season versus Injustice.
That was my favorite.
Was really good. Injustice is, they're both, all four folks in that ring are amazing, but Injustice is something special.
Oh yeah.
I made an erroneous comparison to an older tag team on Twitter, which as a fan we do that. But Myron Reed kind of said something about it, and I was like, look, I didn't mean it. You guys are, what they're doing
they're
is
their own, yeah, they're their own team. I mean, I can't, I do that too. At first, when I see a tag team that really catches my eye, like Injustice does, at first I'm kind of compelled to, they remind me of, but then I have to remember they want to be known as their own team. Their own. And that's just how it is. But yeah, I get that. I do.
Both of them are Myron and Jordan Oliver, very individual talents. Jordan Oliver has attitude for days.
Yes.
On the boardwalk before, if anyone had seen my Twitter, I guess Myron was like feeding one of the seagulls, and a bunch of them attacked him, and they kind of came after his fries or something. So this car
can't catch a break. He's got heat with everybody.
Yeah. Even the gulls just.
Even the seagulls. I just play. Myron doesn't have heat with anybody but the seagulls. Everybody else loves him.
The seagulls are coming for you, Myron.
Seagulls come from them French fries. They love Myron too. They just love them French fries more. So everybody does love Myron Reed, including the seagulls.
So this show came together kind of all of a sudden. It's again a scenic location. I have my guess as to where it's going to be up here somewhere. I think in Rhode Island or Mass. I'm thinking Rhode Island.
It's got to be just this beautiful location. And I'm going to tell you right now, what's killing me, Matt, is I'm not going to be there to live tweet it. I've got to go back. I will eventually tweet it because I'm going to be on the road to Alabama doing, the New South show. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to, of course, review this show because it's Beyond. And I have to see anything Beyond. But I hate it that it's not for everybody. Otherwise, I would have definitely been there. And that it's from someplace that we don't know about. So I'm like,
we just talked to Aaron Rourke. He doesn't know, and he's working.
Even he doesn't know. So yeah.
I'll be live tweeting. I'll be around Sunday afternoon. We're gonna do our best to live tweet and get as much people watching it as we can. Watch it on the replay because when Beyond started as kind of no fans, but in this new world, you got to generate interest. More people we get watching, more Beyond shows we get. Hopefully, we all can get back to a Beyond show.
Definitely.
Here. And this card, there was only some changes because the Buffalo guys, I know something happened, they can't make it. So, but Beyond is like so deep, and DC seems to be able to just get people to show up.
Yes.
The card that's put together here.
This card looks amazing. Yeah. And if y'all have been looking at my tweets, just last night, I believe it was, when they announced Dickinson versus Mikowski, I was just like, holy shit. Yeah. That's the kind of match I want to see.
Yeah. Yeah. It was originally going to be Daniel Garcia versus Mikowski. Yeah. That was the first match announced, and I was like, get the ice back. Someone's going to die here.
Yes. No, that alone in itself is a banger ass match. But okay, the replacement, I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah, they're gonna beat the crap out of each other. That's pretty much how it's gonna be. It's not gonna. You might see a little bit of wrestling. It's just gonna be a fight. That's gonna be
a war. It's gonna be that's gonna be a Beyond classic. I can see that already. Just knowing what I know about Dickinson's matches and having seen him most of this year and knowing what I know about Mikowski from all of his matches, that's going to be a war. That's going to be one to remember.
So in no particular order, there's a couple ones I'm going to save for the end. One in particular because Tiff is a big fan of this team, so we'll talk about them at the end. One about VSK versus Jay Freddy, or it's VSK versus Jay Freddy and Jay Freddy's mustache.
Can I say that quarantine has done Jay Freddy justice completely? I mean,
I feel like from what I'm seeing out of Jay Freddy lately, it's like, I think maybe, it's a break and no one's wrestling and no one's kind of generating, but it's giving people time to just like, let me just see what I have in the bag. And he's showing up with his trucker hat and flannel, and this the mustache is curated.
He's taking some time on this, and I love the end product. I don't even know if this is the end product of Jay Freddy. I just know I love what we're seeing right now. Yeah. And just having been a Jay Freddy fan, because he had one of the best storylines on Uncharted Territory for both seasons. Him and VSK has really just jumped up in high estimation in my book since I've seen him in Beyond. It's hard to call that one, because I really like VSK. I want to see him do as well as, his counterparts, Alex Reynolds, all that. I want to see Jay Freddy, though, win this match.
Yeah.
So I really have to go with Jay.
I feel the same way you do. I'm going to lean towards VSK. I feel like VSK technically is one of the most technically sound wrestlers around right now.
Oh, yes.
He's one of the guys that everything he does is crisp. Everything he does works. He kind of can come at, if you want to grapple, he'll grapple with you. You want to throw hands, he'll throw hands with you. I like them both. Again, the storyline with Jay Freddy and Brandon Thurston, I'm going to lean towards VSK, but it's just going to be a solid match.
It will be.
It will be a solid match. That
whoever wins, rather, we're going to get a hell of a match. I just kind of see Jay Freddy pulling out here, even though I do love VSK. I see Jay Freddy getting the win.
Now, here's one I have some thoughts about. It was one of the second matches announced. Richard Holiday versus Bullet Joe.
Okay, and see, with this one, I'll start off here. Richard Holiday has really grown on me. Just in looking at his Beyond work, going back all the way from the first season over at the Electric Haze and going over to the White Eagle, he's grown on me. I mean, of course, he's not everybody's fan favorite, but in this match, I do expect to see Richard Holiday come through with a win here. Now, I don't know if it'll be a solid victory. He might resort to a little bit of chicanery, but I can see Richard Holiday taking the win here.
So, I'm going to let my bias come out, and I talked about it last time. I'm a Richard Holiday guy. He's from Connecticut. He was trained here by Paul Roma. He is, as we said, a professional wrestler. As far as Bullet Joe goes, people love like the whole scrappy little underdog thing, and I think it works.
Oh, yes.
People love that story, and it's great, but in this instance, no. I have no feelings or affection towards Bullet Joe. He's a good wrestler from what I've seen of him, but I'm not cheering for the underdog here. I'm cheering for the marketable guy, the bad guy, because Richard Holiday, when people get on him when he talks about being, the face and marketing and the branding, but he gets it. He gets it so well.
He really does. It works for him. It really does. And as much as I like the whole underdog, and then Bullet Joe did a great job of that. Yeah. I believe that was a Discovery Gauntlet. He was in the Discovery Gauntlet.
Yeah, he was. Yep.
Did a good job playing up that character, and I think he'll do it again on Sunday. But when it comes to Richard Holiday, you really can't beat the guy that is so self-aware that he has made his whole character around how he markets himself.
Exactly. No holes in the game. He does it in and out of the ring. If anyone checks out his Twitter, his pin tweet is an interview he did with a local news outlet for MLW. It is one of the best interviews I've ever seen a wrestler do with a mainstream person, because it seemed very clear that the person he was talking to was not a wrestling fan. He made that interview all about him and his AirPods throughout that interview. And I went and found the whole interview, and he owns that whole space. And he made the producer whoever was talking to him look silly.
And that is the mark of a wrestler. When they get in and they take up that space and they fill it up with their character, that's a wrestler. That's those old school interviews you used to see back in the day, like Dusty Rhodes going on your local TV station and saying your character. It's great stuff.
Great stuff. So I'm going to take Richard Holiday in that all day.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Next one up is interesting tag team match. They announced again some changes to Infinity and Beyond. Colin Delaney and Cheech taking Rex Lawless and the Man of Steel, Mike Verna.
And I really do love Mike Verna. I really like him, and yet what I have seen of To Infinity and Beyond, and this is in various promotions, they're damn good. And I mean, that to me is one of the best tag teams on the indie scene right now, To Infinity Beyond. So Cheech and Colin Delaney, this is just me, I see them coming through with the win on Sunday just because I think they're on that kind of streak. They had a very good, they had a pretty good 2019. 2020 put everybody on hold, but I just can't see them losing this match as much as I do love all guys involved here. I just see To Infinity and Beyond winning.
Yeah, I believe they were or are AIW tag champs.
Yeah.
Colin and Cheech, in terms of tag team wrestling, in terms of continuity, work so well together as a tag team. Everything is fluid, quick tags, cut the ring off.
Yes.
They have a lot of tandem offense. They're very much like a tag team. Again, making comparisons, they're very much. You look at a tag team like, be it like the Rockers or the Hollywood Blondes. They're like solid, fast, fun, but they can hit you hard tag team.
Yes.
And Colin's been wrestling. Everybody remembers him from ECW with the long.
Yeah, he's been around.
He's been around. 20 pounds lighter, but like he's better now than he was 10 years ago.
I agree. That is a very fair assessment. I agree.
Yeah, and Rex Law, Mike. I'm familiar with Mike Verner from Beyond, from Northeast Wrestling. Mike Verner is again another guy who's a professional wrestler. He is really good at this. Him and Rex Lawless have had this tag team going on and off for a few years. They're just kind of meat and potatoes, hit you in the face, throw you around the ring. Mike Verner is. You look at Mike, and Mike is stacked, and he's strong.
Yes.
But then there's another level he kicks it up to. Like, I've seen him just grab dudes that are infinitely bigger than him and just throw them in the air.
That's what I love about this guy. It's funny because I will make gifs of his matches, and I just love watching him work. He's so strong. Yeah. I mean, the guy is just so freakishly strong, and I'm just like, wow, that needs to be put on film. Yeah, and that's why I love all guys involved here. And I would not be surprised to see if, To Infinity did not win this match, but I just really see Cheech and Delaney coming through the win here.
It can go either way. I'm gonna take Infinity and Beyond just because as a team they seem to be just not a lot more. Both teams are fluid and work well, but Cheech and Colin seem to just have it down to like a science, like a lot of the great tag teams out there right now. And I think they really do. But it's gonna be one of those, if they make a mistake, Rex or Mike one mistake, and Rex Lawless is gonna put it. Yeah, they're gonna get put in the ground, and it's not gonna be pretty.
Hell yeah.
One of the matches that had changed, but this will be fun, interesting, and I'm totally pandering because I'm repping my Bird and the Bee shirt.
Yes.
Blank and Still Life with Apricots and Pears, known as the Nouveau Aesthetic, taking on the Bird and Bee, one of my faves, Solo Darling and Willow Nightingale.
I am so excited for this one. When they announced this, I was just like, yes, okay. I know a lot of replacements and switch rounds happen, but this one is for the best. I'm not mad at it at all.
No.
And I'm just so happy to see the Bird and the Bee take on, because this to me is just, a great teaming, or a great pairing of teams rather. And so, of course, I know Bird and Bee is going to take the victory, but just how are they going to overcome Still Life and Blank? Yeah, go ahead with Blank, because we need to talk about Blank here a little bit.
Blank it's when Blank first showed up, there's, you see the promos and the mask, and he's got the zipper, and, he presented his masterpiece, Still Life with Apricots and Pears.
Yes.
There is something to be said for camp and theater and how close those things are related to professional wrestling, no matter how much some fans want to separate them. Blank is everything that can work camp-wise and theater-wise and presentation. There's a lot of wrestlers out there who could take a lesson in presentation from Blank.
And that's very true. If you look at Blank's promos, and this is like promos from any promotion that he's worked with, the guy gets it. He gets it on a different level. I mean, he gets it more than just the average guy who builds on his character. He takes his character to kind of like this second self-awareness tier where he knows his camp. And he knows it's, but it works. It really works for him.
And it pulls people in. Like you get interested in what he goes talking about. Like, again, the talk team's called Nouveau Aesthetic, and he's doing these promos in like this weird warehouse with like the pictures of Still Life behind him, or like a broken mirror. And you're just
great. He's like, what the hell is this?
And he's not talking about wrestling. He's not talking about the match. He's talking about breaking through barriers. And he says the type of things you would hear at like an art gallery of some person presenting their modern piece of art. but it's great because it fits into what's going on. And next thing you know, it's 5 minutes later, and he hasn't even like kicked anybody in the face yet.
Right. He's still on his promo. He's still building his character, and it's great. And that's what I love about Blank. Blank needs to be discussed more, especially as like the independent scene evolves into whatever it's evolving to, because characters like that are what we need. They get exactly who they are, and they're going to put themselves over to you exactly like that. And both Blank and Still Life do that, in my opinion.
Yes.
So that's going to be a very entertaining match because you've got two distinct characters there in Still Life and Blank, and then of course you got Bird and the Bee. But I just want to see how the Bird and the Bee just kind of overcome this challenge, because I know it's going to happen.
Both since Beyond's been back, both Solo and Willow have competed in singles matches. Willow competed, I believe, against Wear Sunscreen. Solo competed against Pinky Sanchez in a very entertaining singles match in which Pinky Sanchez corrupted Officer Magnum. Which was great.
That was wonderful.
Solo debuted her new gear, new color set, which was like really nice. I'm a sucker.
That was very nice.
It was a great. She's doing like this different thing with her hair. I feel like we're seeing this kind of like dark version of like the old school Sugar Creature. Maybe I'm trying to interview her to talk about that. Maybe she's being kind of cagey about it. Willow's just a solid competitor all around. I've seen her wrestle. She wrestled on Women of Wrestling as Eye Candy and had matches on TV. And I'm honestly surprised they haven't gotten an opportunity somewhere like an Impact or an AEW yet.
That is shocking to me. And I don't know. Sometimes the greatness does get lost in the shuffle sometimes. I get that. But when you have somebody that's just a out loud talent like Willow Nightingale and Solo Darling, you wonder, how is everybody missing out on this? Why is everybody missing out on this? And yeah, I'd love to see them on a bigger platform. But in the meantime, I am enjoying what we do get. Yes. Even if it's not on the grandest scale or the grandest stage, it's still good stuff.
Watching Solo tie up Pinky, she will grab a leg. She would just grab a leg from any angle, just turn it and just twist it around. I mean, he went to like a kick. She grabbed it, dropped the leg, flipped him over, and had like his calf touching his back. And I'm like, what are you? Geez.
What are you doing? What is that? What is even that? That was perfect. That was wonderful shit.
She's so good, and Willow, and there's personality and character there, and there's Officer Magnum, and just again, I'm pandering because I'm wearing their T-shirt.
Of course,
I have their King of Trio shirt in my drawer back there, which I want to try and get signed one day. I've been a fan of Solo since back then in her days at Shimmer and Chikara, and I always want them to win, and this is going to be an interesting win or lose. I'm going to take Bird and Bee just on my bias alone, but I feel like Blank and Still Life, and if people aren't talking about Blank enough, people sure as hell aren't talking about Still Life with apricots and pears enough.
Amen. And that's, to me, at this point, I believe that Still Life is one of the upfront future members of independent wrestling. This is like the future of independent wrestling. This is what you're going to see. You're not going to see as much of the, old school attitude era kind of 90s. You're going to see very, I guess, I don't want to say next level, but it is very next level. You're going to see these characters that you didn't expect to see. You're going to see more, Still Life. You're going to see more Blank. You're going to see more characters that step outside that box, that make people think, maybe even piss some people off. But they're going to be there, and I think it's great. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I love it. There's this wave of characters, between like the Effies and the Jamie Senegals, the Candy Lee, Blank is in there, Still Live with apricots and pears. There's this.
That's the future. That's
characters you wouldn't expect to see in wrestling are going to show up. They're going to be there, and as a fan, you're either going to have to deal with it or
just watch something else. Go back to the mainstream, because this is how independent is, and I'm here for it.
This is where it's going. All right, next matchup. This is more for a Tiff than for anybody else. It is the rep, Nate Carter and DMC, who made their debut at Beyond Wrestling's Please Come Back earlier in the year. They took on Bear Country, taking on Randy Summers and Brandon Watts.
Milk chocolate, y'all. And I'm going to tell you, I'm glad you saved this match for right now, because it's very, very difficult for me, because the rep have become one of my favorites ever since Please Come Back, ever since I got to know who they are. I love them, but Milk chocolate. I mean, what has it been like over a year now? I've been supporting these guys. Yeah. So I have to go with my guys here. I can't. I mean, I love Nate. I love DNC, but I'm going with milk chocolate. I'm going with Randy. I'm going with Brandon and Randy because that is the team that that is the team that I support. That's the team that brought me kind of into Beyond as a fan. Going back into it, that was my big support. Nobody else wanted to support them. I did.
and I give you some well-meaning stick about it. And here's the thing with Milk Chocolate. I've been familiar with Brendan Watts on a singles level. He'd done singles matches in Northeast Wrestling and around here. I knew he was part of a tag team. I know Randy Summers had an injury some time back, had come back, and it's just there is this line between entertaining, annoying, and they straddle it so well. They're both so good at promoting themselves. The video that just dropped this week with Randy Summers was hilarious.
And that goes to show you, if anybody's wondering why I support this team, while everybody else is so hesitant, I'm just all in. Examples like that promo, that's why.
Let's also be upfront. They are in tremendous shape. Randy Summers is in the best shape I've ever seen him in the past.
Quarantine has been good to them as well.
Yeah. Brandon Watts has always they've maintained their physique. Ridiculous ring gear aside, yes, I'm talking about the jackets with the fringe and weird half pants,
which I love.
They're calling themselves the aces of the tag team division. While people may laugh at that, here's the thing. Since Beyond has come back in 2 shows, Bear Country is 0-2. Injustice is 2-0.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to call them the aces yet, but you can make the argument.
There is a case to be
there is a discussion to be had for Randy Summers and Brandon Watts.
And I will definitely argue it with anybody. Because those are my boys. They brought me in at a time where nobody else would support them. And I said, no, nothing's wrong with these guys. In fact, they're great. I felt that way ever since.
And issues with TikTok aside, get Randy Summers more social media followers.
Oh,
he seems
if anybody deserves more, he definitely does.
Randy Summers. And the Rep are one of these, these young and hungry. We're seeing this renaissance of tag team wrestling.
Absolutely.
In the mainstream, but it's building in the independents where good tag teams are finding places to work and getting their names out there. And for the Rep to, make their debut and Beyond earlier this year. Last year?
It was, actually, believe it or not, earlier this year.
It's been
this hell of a year that we've had.
It's been the longest decade ever. Nate DMC are just, they're a young, hungry, black tag team.
Yes.
They're black as hell, and I love every second of
Aren't
it.
they?
I love it. And I can't, and it's good to see, because a lot of people look at the wrestling fandom and don't realize how many black fans we're out here. We're
here. We've been here. We've been here.
We're here. We've been here. Forever.
Forever.
and to see talent like that getting their recognition, to go into Please Come Back, have a hell of a match against Bear Country, get a very vociferous Please Come Back chant.
Yes.
And now taking on a team. I'm taking the Rep merely just to kind of irritate you, but also because I think both teams are hungry, but the Rep, this is one of those, I'm going to get all sports cliche because it's the NBA playoffs and I'm kind of in that mood. This, to me, this is a who's who match. This is a gut check. Whoever blinks first, whoever wins this match has momentum. That's what this is. It is I think it's a house money match for the Rep. Yeah. I think it's a must-win match for Milk Chocolate.
I can't say that you're wrong. Of course, I'm going with 100%, 110% bias here, But no, the valid points, very valid points that you made. But in the meantime, I just have to say that my boys, they have been through the ringer. They have been through it all. they have paid their dues. I think we have all seen their Uncharted Territory matches. I think they are ripe for a good streak. And if it starts on Sunday, so be it. It might not happen. If it doesn't happen, I'm still gonna love them. But I just think Sunday might be the start of something big for Milk Chocolate. I'll just say that.
It can be. I would agree with that. I think, again, this is a momentum thing. I think they get a win, and times we've seen them in Uncharted Territory taking losses. But I will say they've never had a match where there wasn't an opportunity, a window for them to win. Like there wasn't a part in any of their losses where they were out of it. Again, they're in tremendous shape. They understand tag team wrestling. I think maybe they get a little about themselves, and then that's what leads to issues.
True.
But I think Randy Summers' abs and Brandon's abs.
I think they win. I think any kind of competition that you put them in, they win.
They can win. All right, and what I would consider to be the main event, don't know if it is, but the Dirty Daddy Chris Dickinson taking on Matt Mikowski.
That's the main event in my world. I don't know about the show itself, but if that match isn't last, then whenever it's on, that's the main event to me.
Yeah. At Worst Sunscreen, Chris Dickinson had a great match with Priscilla Kelly. Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure what to expect, but Chris Dickinson did what he did, and he went out there. Did the damn thing. And PK is a fighter. We both said it when we last talked about this. She kept coming and was.
Sorry, my cat is. Yeah, my cats.
Yeah, my cat's over here. My cat's over here sleeping. He's not doing anything. She kept fighting. She gave her all, and Chris Dickinson came out on top. And the end of the match, when he's like pouring the word and there's steam coming off of Chris Dickinson, he had something to say about people, crapping on intergender wrestling. I agree with him 100%. I think people need to figure out how they feel about intergender wrestling, but it's valid. It has a place, and he's one of the best in it. Moving on to Matt Mikowski, though. This is Matt Mikowski is I think intense is a little too simple of a word.
No, Matt Mikowski is, to me, I'll just go ahead since I put my cat away. Let me jump in here and say he, to me, is the next Chris Dickinson. And I know that might be going a little bit too far, too soon, but just from what I've seen of Matt Mikowski within the past year or maybe year and a half, that is the future. We know what Dirty Daddy can do right now. We've seen that for a couple of years now. Matt Mikowski is the come up. That is who the next level of Dirty Daddy is. That's who Chris Dickinson's successor, in my opinion, will be. Sunday is going to be a really pivotal match, I think, for Dickinson and Beyond, at least. Yeah. This could be the crowning of a new Beyond God. Dickinson has held that title, unofficial title for a while now. Mm-hmm. I think, if Matt Mikowski does come through with the win here, I think not only will it be an upset, I think people are kind of looking for Dickinson to win, but I think it'll be the start of something big if Matt Mikowski does come through with the win here. He could be one of Beyond's next big names after this Sunday.
Yeah, there is, with Matt Mikowski coming from, Discovery Gauntlet, I'd seen him in other places. There are very few, I think he's one of these guys that when he gets in a ring with somebody, he looks for something to kind of absorb from that wrestler to make himself better.
Yes.
And he applies it. And I've not seen a professional wrestler, maybe save for kind of one other guy, but I want to kind of keep the focus on Matt here, who can get somebody into a submission or a pin from almost any angle. I've seen this guy grab somebody off a wrist lock and get him on the ground and roll him up.
Yeah.
I've seen him grab a leg and throw somebody in an ankle lock and then turn it into a chokehold. He comes at you from 1,000 different directions. And if one way doesn't work, he's going to go around the other way. And if that doesn't work, he's going to come around the other way.
He's relentless. He will not stop.
He has, again, sports cliche, he has an engine. He will keep coming. The cardio is ridiculous. Anyone who's seen him places like Chikara, the Crucible matches, the guy just goes. He goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. Coming up against Chris Dickinson again, you're right. He's the gatekeeper. He's the backbone. If you're going to be someone in Beyond Wrestling, he's the guy you have to go.
That's the one to beat.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. That's the one to beat.
You want to be somebody and beyond, you got to step in the ring with Chris Dickinson. That's how it works. I think Matt, as focused and as intense as he is, if there's anyone, like you said, that's going to be the come up and be the next guy, it's going to be Matt. But this is again one of those matches where whoever makes the first mistake is gonna go down. Matt's doing his homework. Matt's probably sitting, watching film and getting ready. Chris probably is too, because everybody who follows Chris on Instagram, the guy does nothing but work out, eat, and watch wrestling.
That's his life.
And listen to Wu-Tang. And I mean, that's
his life.
That's what he does, And Matt's probably kind of the same way, where he's just, his life is in that ring. And when you get two guys like that, it's going to hurt. However that match ends, both of them are going to come out changed men. I want to say Matt Mikowski wins this. It's kind of like I'm going to put the chip on Matt Mikowski, but I'm not fully committed to the idea yet. I'm going to say yes for now, but that can change. It all comes in that first few minutes of where, and I think this was going to be the case when it was going to be Matt and Daniel Garcia. They're going to get in the ring. They're going to go at whoever. I think they might grapple for a bit, because Matt kind of likes to grapple at start of matches.
Yeah.
Whoever lands that first big shot, whoever kind of hit that first kick or that first, whatever that impact is, where you hear that sound, it's going to take the match from, okay, the match has started, to, we're fighting now. It's a fight.
Yes, that will kick it up to the next to the next level. And I'll go as far as to say this. I know that Matt Mikowski is going to bring the battle to Chris Dickinson, but as much as I love Matt Mikowski, and as much as I know this win would be a career changer for him, I just don't see him taking the win from the Dirty Daddy. Not just yet. I don't see anybody knocking him off that throne just yet. I don't know who is going to be to knock Dickinson off that throne. And it might eventually be Matt Mikowski, but I just see it as being a series of matches, maybe a couple of matches to take that, to make it happen. But either way, Sunday, we're going to see a hell of a match that's going to make us remember who the hell Matt Mikowski is if we didn't know before.
Yeah, I think if you watch Uncharted Territory, he kind of got bumped out by Tony Deppen. I have feelings about that. We'll talk about another time. He rolled back in and had a hell of a run on his own in the Discovery Gauntlet. And Matt seems to be the type of guy like Chris who just wants to push himself and give me the best and give me whoever, but give me the best and push me to be the better guy.
Yes.
And that's what this is. I think for Chris, this will be his first probably real test since, and I'm not saying like Priscilla Kelly or any matches he's done. I feel like this is just
no, not taking anything away from them, but this is Matt Mikowski.
Yeah, this is different. This is going to be, as wrestling arises from its slumber. Yes. This will be the pace setter.
This is the wake up call.
Yeah, this is it. This is the pace setter. Whoever wins, Chris wins this, and he's still the guy. Matt wins this, and now there's a question: is Chris Dickinson fallible? That's where we go. Again, this could be a series of matches, and I feel like it could be. This could be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5.
This could stretch out. This could be a whole story arc in itself. I just want to see how this initial match plays out, because this is going to be one of the biggest challenges Dickinson's had all year. I'm just saying, for anybody that's not familiar with Matt Mikowski, this is going to be that match that makes you say, okay, I know who the fuck Matt Mikowski is. He's no language. But I just see that coming on Sunday. So that's going to be, if that's not the main event, no matter where it falls on the card, that's going to be the main event to me.
Yeah. And, Aaron Rourke, and we discussed his match. That's, Aaron Rourke joined us, and that's great. That's the card. Again, a solid Beyond since this is their 3rd show back, post-quarantine world. No fans, Shangri-La Mahastral at an undisclosed location. I was going to try and do some digging to find out where. I don't think that's going to happen.
If I had found out where, I would have been going there. And, even if I'm going to Alabama this weekend, still, I would have tried to have been there.
Yeah, no, and this is like no fans allowed. Apparently,
exactly.
DC's doing commentary himself. He's doing the entrance music. He's doing social media, even
which will be interesting to watch in itself.
Yeah, I think what DC wants to do is try and focus this entirely on the folks in the ring, get as many people to watch it. I'll be tweeting most of the weekend as I can. I'll be watching this live, from.
I'll be doing a review on this. I'm going to be out of town this weekend, but of course I'm going to watch the replay and definitely be doing a review on Bum Wine. So everybody be looking for that as well.
Yeah, Bum Wine Bob and Pro Wrestling?
Pro Wrestling Post. Yeah,
Pro Wrestling Post. I always feel like it's Pro Wrestling Talk. Like, no, it's something different. It's Pro Wrestling Post and Bum Wine Bob, which is a great name.
Isn't it great? You can't forget that one.
Because for those of us who grew up in certain parts of the country, we know what Bum Wine is.
We know what Bum Wine is.
You say Bum Wine, I think Thunderbird.
I think Mad Dog 2020, but Thunderbird is definitely not far behind.
Thunderbird, little screw top wine.
Yes.
Tiff, this has been great. It was nice to have Aaron Rourke here. That was
absolutely. I had a blast tonight. Of course, I was expecting that. It's always been a blast with you, Matt.
I'm trying again. Little corner of the internet. We're trying. Tiff, where can people find you on the internets?
Oh, of course. Yeah, you guys can always find me on Twitter at That Rose Tattoo. Same for Instagram at That Rose Tattoo. Of course, I'm always doing articles, previews, reviews, and any kind of write-ups on Bum Wine Bob and at Pro Wrestling Post. So look me up.
Yep. And now the show you're going to a show this weekend, right?
Yeah, I will be in Huntsville, Alabama this Sunday for New South Pro Wrestling. Y'all come out if you're in that area to Top Shelf. It's going to be at the Furniture Factory at 7. I will definitely be there. Going to be a huge card. You got Mance Warner going up against Cabana Man Dan. So that's
okay.
Yes, right. That's what I said, man. I was like, I can't miss that. So I'm going to be there for that. It's also going to be on IWTV in the weeks to come. So just be looking for that. But yeah, it's gonna be a great weekend.
Oh, Mance Warner, I'm a fan.
Oh yeah.
That guy is, he talks a lot about old school WCW. And he would fit. You take him and you drop him in like 1993 WCW.
That's Mancer's place. That's his spot.
That's Light Beers and Lariats. That guy's. I was there for the 10,000 thumbtack match he had, with
against Gage. That was a great match.
Yeah,
so.
I brought eye protection just in case for that match. And
that's a good idea.
Mance versus Cabana Man Dan. All right, you got a Mance Warner, some Second Gear Crew representation. They're taking over wrestling. According to F, they're taking over.
The independent scene has been inundated with Second Gear, and then you have Cabana Man Dan, who has his new physique. I don't know if you've seen Cabana Man Dan lately. He is ripped and shredded.
Yeah, I saw freelance was Black Label Pro's last show.
A
very one of the most entertaining scramble matches I've ever seen, with the Man Scout Jake Manning making his BLP debut, who I'm very familiar with Man Scout up here in New England. Dan the Dad. Cabana Man Dan, Danhausen.
Yes.
And then I forget the other person, no disrespect to them. I just don't remember who it was. But that there was now I think we saw the start of a rivalry between Dan the Dad and Man Scout Jake Manning.
That is something I want to see play out. I like how that's set up, and I want to see where that goes. So yes, let that happen.
Yeah, folks, if you are not familiar with the Man Scout Jake Manning, he is an amazing wrestler. He's been wrestling for over a decade. He also runs High Spots. They do auctions, and he had Britt Baker on last week. He's had the Rock'n'Roll Express on. Not that he needs any pub from me, but Man Scout he also runs $5 wrestling, which is great.
I didn't know that. I'm glad you said that.
He's a part of the machine that makes $5 wrestling go.
It's good to know.
We love Freight Train in this house, so that's my $5 wrestling plug for the evening. That's about it, folks. Again, tune in Sunday afternoon, IWTV, live, Shangri-La Mahastral. I think I may be the first person to actually pronounce that correctly, because
I think you are.
Everyone online seems to have an issue with it. But yeah, that's the hashtag. Please watch, please support Beyond. Beyond launches careers. If you look at the people who've been at Beyond in the past 3 to 4 years, they have gone on to bigger paychecks and bigger platforms. And the guys you see here and Beyond will move on, and you won't have them anymore. So enjoy them while you have them. And then, we're always going to have new stars, and, maybe we'll see Aaron Rourke on TV one day. It's great stuff. I can't say enough good things.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you folks so much. And you have a great evening, and we'll see you all on Sunday.
See y'all.